All right, Mike and Trish, thank you very much. As you mentioned, Meta, a huge story today. Let's start with that one. Take a listen.
I just don't believe that they have the best interests in the community, and it's not a lot of money that they're bringing. What I was told months ago is they're bringing tens of millions for infrastructure. That's not happening.
Well, that was City Representative Josh Acevedo after an effort he co-led to terminate the city's incentives agreement with Meta failed to move forward. After 9 hours of public comment, City Council's final vote was 5-3. Representatives Acevedo, Lily Limon, and Chris Canales voted in favor of moving to end the contract with Meta. Over 180 people signed up to speak. Most strongly opposed the data center, urging City Council to break the current contract regardless of the cost.
Vote them out! Vote them out! Vote them out!
This happened in 2023, and what we know now about this industry, we would have probably negotiated it completely different. This is a very large company. Not every company coming into El Paso needs incentives, so this would have been one that I would have looked at and probably wouldn't have offered any incentives. They're too big of a company that would need incentives. So.
Well, the city's outside counsel also issuing a warning. Terminating the Meta contract means canceling 35 years of agreed upon tax incentives. This could spark a legal battle costing hundreds of millions. Opponents of breaking the contract say it offers no guarantees. They argue the data center might still be built anyway. Plus, they warn backing out could damage El Paso's reputation for future investments. But supporters of canceling the deal say the environmental risks are too high. They believe protecting El Paso's natural resources outweighs the threat of a costly lawsuit.
It is super disappointing to see the majority of the council vote to continue this. It feels like they are still treating this like if it is a regular project and not something that would use more energy than the city of El Paso. This is something that will reshape the city fundamentally, and it does not feel like they're taking that with the seriousness it deserves.
Now, Chris Canales, who voted to approve the contract in the previous council, was among the three who voted to begin the process of terminating it. Art Fierro, who also supported the original deal, voted against breaking that agreement. And before the vote even took place, we actually heard from Meta in the form of a letter to Mayor Johnson and City Council. Meta wrote this project represents more than $10 billion in planned investment and is expected to support more than 300 permanent operational jobs. They addressed water consumption, saying this data center will use a closed-loop liquid cooling system designed to recirculate water and minimize consumption. An attorney and organizer with the Sembrando Esperanza Coalition joined KTSM Live at 6:30 yesterday, and she says a lot has changed since these agreements were signed.
If we go back to this contract, we have to understand that the parties did not know what they were agreeing to. They could not control for certain factors, including the drought, including the scarcity of water, including the increase in utility rates, etc. And we do know that Meta was a more sophisticated party in this. They also knew that they had already damaged other communities throughout the country, and our city was not aware of those.
Well, Mayor Johnson has said that breaking contracts with Meta would have led to hundreds of millions of dollars in legal costs that would have been funded by the public, likely a big deterring factor for the 5 city council members who voted against this measure. Of course, you can see more coverage of yesterday's vote by visiting KTSM.com.